Hey everyone, welcome back to the Sunny Side. I'm Sunny, and this video right here is specifically, it's all about the North Node in Sagittarius and the South Node in Gemini. This is for everybody who has the North Node in Sagittarius and the South Node in Gemini. That's the action. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope everyone's having a super amazing day. Nodes are actually really important in astrology, and this video is these videos that I make about the planets and the nodes, or the celestial orbs or the moon or whatever's out there, they tend to be pretty long, so you might want to watch the video on fast forward. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, sit down, chill out, and just relax. For those who don't know, I'm a professional astrologer, and I do write the horoscopes for some of the newspapers up here in Canada. So if you want a professional reading or personal reading by a professional, then just check it out in the description box below. In addition to that, please share the videos. Share all the videos on the channel. It's the only way that I can honestly grow the channel, and every little bit helps, and I super appreciate it. In addition to all of that, just letting you know what's going on in the channel here, I do have workshops that I do every, once a month. There's a different workshop. This month is all about understanding your rising sign. One month is astrology, the next month is tarot. I also teach the tarot, especially how it relates to astrology, because once again, I'm a professional astrologer. In addition to that, every once in a while I put stuff for sale out there, and right now we have the birth chart report, the progress charts and the birth charts are actually on sale right now. So if you just check out, if you're interested in any of that, just check it out in the description box below. All right, here we go. Before we begin, I just want to show you a couple of things about what's going on. Oh, the Astro side. And finally, the so if you want to go, this is my website here, TheSunnySide.net. This is where you go to find out more about me, all the gazillions of testimonials, the workshops, get your astrology reports. I wrote a book called Emotional Weight Loss. You can check that out as well. Anyways, our channel is sponsored by the Astro-Side. It's the astroside.com. There's a link in the description box. And this is where you go to get all your badass hoodies and t-shirts and mugs and everything like that. And you could be a super cool Sagittarius going to yoga in one of these badass hoodies that was designed by SLC, my sexy little crab. My wife designed all this stuff. She did an amazing job. I think it's really cool. All right, so there you go. And the channel is sponsored by the Astro-Side, and that's how you help support the channel, or you could just donate money in the description box below. All right, let's get down to it. So first, let me explain to you what the nodes are. The nodes are a point where the moon's orbit crosses the Earth's orbit around the sun. Yeah, man, seriously. No, so this is the Earth, right? Okay, and I'm not gonna, if you wanna, you can, whatever. Here you go. So this is what it is. This is the Earth. I'm the sun. I'm Sunny. I'm the sun. This is the Earth cruising along here, and this is the Earth's orbit right here. The Earth is cruising along in this direction, and this is the path. Now, if we take the moon orbiting like this, wherever the moon crosses the Earth's orbit, then that right there, those are the nodes. You guys cool? There's a bit of mythology about this, of course. Of course, it's the dragon's head and the dragon's tail. Once again, these are the nodes. They're also called Rahu and Ketu in Vedic astrology, and it's the dragon's head and the dragon's tail, and it's where the moon's orbit intersects the Earth. The moon's orbit around the sun intersects the Earth's orbit. The moon's orbit around the Earth intersects the Earth's orbit around the sun. It's pretty simple. Just to let you know, mythology. Oh, and please share this video, because I don't tell the mythology in all the videos. I'll tell you right now. So the mythology is this. I'll dumb it right down for you. Okay, there's good and there's evil, and then there's the Earth. Evil had won. Okay, evil had won, and they had to, for good things, you know, for good to get a second chance. Good went and talked to God, or the sun god at the time, or you know, whatever they were calling it in Vedic astrology, and the Vedics called it. And he said, okay, we'll give you guys another chance. And so they had to kind of jumpstart the Earth a little bit in this celestial, this ethereal divine energy that we're all in. But the good guys, to jumpstart the Earth, they couldn't do it by themselves. There's too much stuff to do. It's just it was too much for all of the good energy or the good people or the good beings to do it. So they needed the help of the bad guys, you know, of evil. Good needed evil to help them. So, like, I know it's a little fucked up, right? But good needed evil to help them. And together they were able to jumpstart this, this energy again. And then good, one of the people in good, I'm really dumbing it down, okay? Good, evil, one of the people in good, they were able to get some of this elixir, you know, of the ethereal divine, which creates immortality, and they were going to give it, you know, they're supposed to give it to the good and the evil. But this person was tricked the evil, and they separated the good and the evil into two lines, and was only giving it to the good, right? So the good would win, triumph over evil. And one of the head guys of evil went into the line of the good people, and he drank some of this elixir. So good had immortality in them, and this one evil guy had this elixir in him as well. So this one evil person, was quite powerful obviously, became immortal as well. And when they saw this, they cut him in half, right? They're like, fuck you, and they chopped this motherfucker in half. And they attached his head to the body of the serpent, and they attached the serpent's head to the lower half of his body. And that's how we get the serpent's head and the serpent's tail attached to the evil. Now this story is important because in astrology, the south node is considered bad and the north node is considered bad. You guys got that? Okay, so it's not really like that, but some say the north node, the south node, right, this part here, let me show you on the chart what it looks like. So the south node let's do that again. So the south node, hey, what the hell is going on with my snip thing here? One sec, we're in the middle of a video and we're having, well, that didn't work very well. Well, we kind of, let's try it once more. Let's try it once more. Here we go. So the south node is right here. Okay, it's a U-shape south node. And it's like, so some consider this Saturn energy. They consider it karma. Like Saturn's obviously Saturn energy, right? But many people consider the south node karmic lessons that you bring into life, into this life. If you believe in past lives, if you believe in reincarnation, it's coming from Vedic astrology, right? Like I'm a Western astrology, but this story comes from Vedic astrology. It doesn't have to believe that. If you don't believe in, oh, someone just subscribed to the channel. Okay. If you don't believe in south nodes, if you don't believe in past lives or karmic regret, anything like that, just imagine that it's the energy, or it's the stuff that happens to you when you're young. Everything cool? South node is when you're young. It's the stuff you're kind of good at. It's the stuff you dwell upon. And the north node, which is up there, the north node looks like an N. It's the stuff that you're heading towards. Now there's more to it than all of this. Some people say that this is Saturn energy or Saturn style energy, and in astrology Saturn has a lot of negative stuff attached to it. And this, some people say that that's good. Some people say south node bad, north node good. But the truth is, you know, some people say this is ruled by Saturn, some say this is ruled by Mars. I mean, I'm pointing, you can't see it. This is ruled by Mars, and actually they're both kind of can be negative. Now, there's a finite amount of energy that you have for this, and the more energy that you put into this, the less energy that you have to put into that. And there is a balance. If you put good into the south node, then you will have a lot of good in the north node. If you have put negative into the south node, and that's where the karma comes from. Karma is always about negative shit, right? So if you put negative into the south node, then you're going to have not enough stuff to reap all the benefits of the good in the north node. Everybody cool? Probably not, right? Another way to think about it is the south node is a cup where all this energy overflows. It's too much. And too much of anything makes it a problem in astrology anyways. So this is in Gemini. We're talking about the South Node in Gemini today. And if the South Node is in Gemini, that means there's too much Gemini kind of stuff. So a healthy amount of Gemini is being curious. A healthy amount of Gemini is multitasking. A healthy amount of Gemini is looking at the other side. It's observational. It's investigative. It's, hey man, what's going on? Are you sure? Let's check it out. A healthy side of Gemini looks at the details. And it's conversive. It's people coming together. Gemini's one of the top 2 sexual signs of the zodiac as well. It's a different kind of sexuality, but it's bringing things. Gemini brings things together. They like check that out, and they check that out, and you know the Gemini's here go, that idea, and they bring it to themselves. And this idea, yeah, bring it to that. And this side, this, and bring it. In the tarot, Geminis are represented by the Lovers, and the Lovers card means someone's going to come along to change your mind. It's a different point of view, and that's what it is. Now, if there's too much energy in Gemini, which is what the South Node is all about, then you're going to have things like you're going to be indecisive, you're going to be erratic, you're going to be scatterbrained, always like, oh, what about this, what about this, what about this, what about this, or like, oh, there's more. You're going to be looking for too much information. There's too much Gemini energy and too much nitpicking at the details. Not like Virgo nitpicking. It's different. Gemini is similar to Virgo in many ways, but not really. But too much Gemini can make someone unfaithful. You know, too much Gemini can make someone scatterbrained, unable to focus, a nervous wreck, you know, running all over the place. And it's at the expense of Sagittarius energy, which is the North Node. And the North Node is all about, you know, stuff that if you have the North Node well balanced, and the South Node is not going to be a problem. So Gemini is all about focusing on this, and this, at the expense of Sagittarius energy, which is being philosophical. All right, I get this. Gemini says this, but Sagittarius says, hold on, let's look at the big picture here. Let's be philosophical about this. Let's be optimistic that it's all going to work out. And Gemini's like, no, this, fuck you, fuck you, fuck. Sagittarius is like, can't we just get naked and chill out for a while? You know, let's go rock the ganj and go kite surfing or some kind of shit like that. And let's get out and have some fun. And that's the juxtaposition between the two. And you can't have fun if you're too busy focused on, you know, all of the worries and concerns and the neurosis that accompanies everyday life. And that's my 2 cents on the South Node in Gemini versus the North Node in Sagittarius. That's what it boils down to. Now there's a little bit more than that. You want a flow of energy going back and forth. If you have so you want a bit of a balance going on here, and that's the action. They say things like, and these guys talk a lot about karma and past life regressions. They'll say, oh, we'll check out what they say. But it doesn't, this really means is, you're probably really brainy. Someone who has their South Node in Gemini is probably a brainy person, is, you know, checking things out, is highly curious, is, you know, wants to do all these experiences. And, you know, and as a result of being, you know, all this, you might, you know, be unable to focus. You can be scattered. And so you need some of the North Node energy to balance you out and chill your vibe. So once again, South Node, a little too much. North Node, a little bit more. And that's the action. It's that simple. Some say this is where you are. This is all the shit you got to take care of. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in your North Node, but you're stuck in your South Node. In reality, you kind of want a little bit of both to balance each other out. And that's the deal with the nodes. All right, that's my 2 cents on the nodes. Let's get down to what these guys said, because they really wrote a lot about this. I don't some of the signs that they didn't really write much, but for this one, they wrote quite a bit. Everybody cool? Everybody back? Please subscribe to the channel. Please tell your friends all about it. Please share the video. And let's get down to the action. Okay, George Mercury says, the dragon's head, that's the North Node. Dragon's head's the North Node. In Sagittarius is the surest sign of happiness and quietude. I don't know if it's quiet, but It's a sure sign of happiness, so long as the native, the person knows how to be contented, which is usually the case, in as much as progress is fairly quick in this sign. It's a fire sign, right? So Sagittarius is one of the fastest signs. The close family ties, that is wife and children, live on good terms with a relatively, restricted circle. It's a sort of happiness what does not proclaim itself. Success is somewhat slow in coming because, remember, so this guy's talking about the North Node, but the North Node, it's a combination of things. Your North Node, so someone with their North Node is going to have good qualities of Sagittarius to some degree and negative qualities of Gemini in their chart. So that's how it works out. Negative Gemini, positive Sagittarius. So the guy should be worldly. The guy should be optimistic. He should make you he should try and make you laugh. But if he's well developed, that's what he'll do. On the negative side, he might be fickle. He might be a grouch. All right. Anyways. Okay. Success is somewhat slow in coming, but can be relied upon as the ascent is gradual and teaches patience. The dragon's tail, or the South Node in Gemini, often causes inharmonious relations with those around the person, right? Gemini is a relationship sign, and with the South Node in Gemini, you're going to fuck it up, obviously. Or with distant relatives. Sagittarius is distant relatives. Gemini is going to fuck up the relationships. This may entail disputes over money matters, which will be detrimental to the native, as many people may be jealous of him and put obstacles in his way. Nevertheless, he will know how to defend himself, especially with the help of a good aspect from Mars and Mercury. In the former case, success will come through violence, in the later through cunning. All right, so if you have a and you can put, depending on what's transiting, right, you can put energy into your South Node and be like cunning, like a Gemini, negative Gemini, cunning. Or, depending on the transits, you might be Sagittarius, which is a fuck you up kind of sign. It's a very aggressive sign. They're like, Sagittarius will cut your ass so fast. Anyways, that's what he has to say. Next, Isabel Hickey says, the North Node in Sagittarius points the way to far horizons, physically and spiritually. What is she writing? A fucking poem here? Okay. Persons gain through associations with others and pioneering in new lines of philosophical and education endeavors. Did you guys catch that? Like I said, in the Tarot, it's the Lover's card, and the Lover's cards are all about combining with other people, new people giving you new ideas. And so, North Node in Sagittarius you can't have the North Node without the South Node. So North Node in Sagittarius points to the horizon, personal relationships with people. Anyways, and inner positivity, Sagittarius, optimistic, will be of great help in overcoming negative aspects of the birth chart. Next, South Node in Gemini shows too much superficiality in past lives, too little willingness to stabilize, and a fitting from one experience to another. Fitting, flitting, whatever. If continued in this lifetime, there will be little success or any sustaining power. So once again, too much Gemini energy means you're going to be flirting, jumping from thing to thing. And you're not going to focus. You need to get to that Sagittarius thing and focus. It's not easy though, it's not easy to, and especially once again if some transit is activating your South Node in a negative way, it's difficult. It causes problems in that area of your chart. Martin Schulman says the key word here is promise. Okay, I don't see that, but sure, why not? For lifetimes, I don't see that either. Okay, this individual has immerse himself in dualities, resulting in indecision. Okay, this is some new agey bullshit. But let's continue to see what else he has to say. He's tried to be all things to all people, and as a result, has made himself attuned to superficiality. All right. Now, he has karmic lessons to learn in areas. So karmic lessons, right? They say the South Node is karma. Now, he has karmic lessons to learn in areas of loyalty and allegiance, right? Because Gemini is always flitting from one to the other. Eventually, he will come to see that by playing both sides against the middle, he can only hope to make himself the center of a sandwich caught in the squeeze. What kind of sandwich is this guy making? Nevertheless, he retains a past life fear of committing himself fully to either side. For at least on a superficial level, he sees truth and right in both, right? Gemini is a super brainer sign, and they see truth, and they can see both sides of everything. They see good and evil in everything. The Gemini has a lot of trouble making up their minds. He still believes that a definite commitment to one side would leave him with the feeling of missing the opportunity inherent in the other. This is the ability to remain uncommitted. This ability to remain uncommitted enables him constantly to adjust himself to fit the needs of the moment. Like the chameleon, his colors change with his surroundings. In past incarnations, he was not too discriminating, knowing that it really didn't matter where he gave his affiliation, since he never gave his complete self anyways. Now he swings like a pendulum in a breeze, open to ride it, but for a brief time, only on the winning wind. I kind of disagree with that. Like, he's got a point. And when you're watching these people, you'll say that, okay, they're not too discriminating. They'll flip back and forth. They'll say yes to everybody. Maybe they're a little bit loose in the zipper. I don't see Geminis being loose in the zipper, by the way. I just see them slow to make their decisions. And although he's saying they're not too discriminating, when you have to process a tremendous amount of information and you understand what's going on in the world, well, they say things like this. When you understand, you accept things. And when you accept things, you're like, okay, I get it. I get it. Okay, I get it. And that's what Gemini's like. They get it. So there's no need for them to stick in and fight back, because they get it. I don't think he gets it. Okay. Anyways, I think he understands, from one perspective, but I don't think he understands the concept of living in a world of no fear. I don't think he understands of living in the world of understanding, of walking a mile in someone's shoe, like a South Node in Gemini actually does. He purposely makes himself the pawn of others, and even if only for the moment, seems to agree with them so that he can temporarily feel accepted and part of something. I don't know that Gemini even gives a shit about that. Oh, zombies! We got zombies! Alright. Since so many people have formed the building blocks, through many lives, his sense of self-identity has become not merely a single division, but filled with all the questions of everybody with whom he was in contact, right? They ask questions. Since so many people have formed the building blocks of the inner self, it's impossible for him to be anything but a hypocrite. Like, this guy's pretty hard on this guy, on South Node in Gemini. When he speaks, he just called the guy a hypocrite for understanding and not condemning someone for understanding, When he speaks, his facial expression as well as his body language will change from sentence to sentence, taking on the appearance of the person whose words he's not trying to pass off as his own. In fact, when he makes a definite positive statement, his eyes will always examine the recipient to see if what it was received was truth. If not, then it doesn't really matter, for he will now start talking incessantly, trying one collected statement after another on for size in the hope of that somewhere in his collection of information a new word might be worthwhile. Whatever. It's true. These guys like to talk a lot. He's got a point. These guys like to talk. Blah, 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 blah. And they will talk until they get an agreement, until they find harmony. He loves activity, and when circumstances make him feel cooped up or bogged down, he becomes highly nervous and restless. He's saying it's a Gemini, but it's actually Sagittarius feels restless. They both feel restless. Sagittarius doesn't like being cooped up. Gemini is restless, especially intellectually. Always over-programmed, he struggles to keep up with the myriad of details and people that fill his life. He has so much to do, and yet at the end of each day feels distracted from his purpose. In past incarnations, he never developed a long attention span. As a result, he spends much of his life constantly changing his mind about everything. At one point, he'll go through conflict over whether to live in a large city or in the country. The conflict is really between the continuation of the past life need to be with people and his present life desire to be away from them. Direction does not come at an early age. Once again, South Node is early in life. Too much Gemini, too much taking in information, too much indecision. Not Sagittarius focused. More often than not, it comes through the aid of parents or an older person who sets him on his course, usually after the age of 28. That's a Saturn return. Underneath it all, he's unsteady. He has been so busy seeing the shades of gray in everything that he has difficulty seeing the light of truth in himself. For this individual, life's biggest task involves a quest for higher knowledge. Through the Sagittarius North Node, he must learn that in order for man to become capable of seeing the truth, he must first be the truth. He will go far if he teaches himself to speak from his higher mind, for the esoteric meaning of all he says will ultimately show him his real identity. When he starts to mesh with transcendental thought, he will begin to reach a spiritual union within himself. This is all New Agey bullshit, right? We all know this is stupid fuckery. Let's continue. So, first, he must work through his karma of perpetuating trivia and come to see that participating in gossip is the greatest sin against liberty. Then he must turn his back on all the past life residue and pretend sophistication and reach for all that is real and natural. Ultimately, he comes to see that although a coin has two sides, it's still one coin. When he develops this perspective of vision, he'll be able to transform the knowledge he has acquired into divine wisdom. Blah, 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 blah. Let's move on to another one. This guy's he's indulging in intellectual masturbation right now, and he's puking New Age bullshit. Donna Van Toen says, I like the stuff she says, it's kind of interesting. Donna Van Toen says, you should follow through on your interest in psychology, travel, and other Sagittarius stuff. However, the Gemini South Node says, yeah, but my day-to-day activities don't leave me any time. Okay, whatever. It says, your problem is that a mental block prevents expansion. You know, always searching to gather information is preventing the person from having a worldly view and putting the pieces together. Too much. The South Node in Sagittarius is like someone who's always getting pieces together, piecing together pieces, and never putting the puzzle together. Sagittarius is the one that puts the puzzle together. Just like in the Tarot, Sagittarius is represented by Temperance, which is all about putting the pieces together. All right, next. Possible reasons for this. Environmental restrictions hindered learning, refusal to take chances, dislike of reading or distrust of any type of indirect communication, reluctance to be put in a position where you may be asked to give advice. Right, Sagittarius is about teaching, and they're saying a reluctance to express your Sagittarius nature. An upbringing that encouraged superficiality, little success with early education. All right, next. Okay, so it says, in the Gemini North Node, okay, now we're talking Gemini South Node today, but we're just saying, as to compare these things, for the Gemini North Node, that person relies on book learning to replace awareness. All right. The Gemini South Node, which is what we're talking today, the tables are turned. Knowledge must be at a very rudimentary level. There can't be an I read it, you know, in the Inquirer kind of thing, or I saw it on YouTube, so it must be true philosophy. Or there can be distrust of any information that comes from afar. Sagittarius comes from afar. In other words, local news, right, or current events, or hearsay, or the blind teaching the stupid, which happens mostly on YouTube, just going to say, or people who learn through memes. Can you imagine learning math through memes? That's so fucked up. All right, people, but that's how, anyways, there can be a distrust of any information that comes from afar. All right, So in other words, the local news commentator knows what he's talking about, but the foreign news commentator is full of nonsense unless he's voicing the same opinion. Got that? Gemini's here, Sagittarius is out there. Frequently, the Gemini, once again, the Gemini North Node, not today's, but the North Node, relies upon rumors, gossip, and small talk to form the knowledge. You know, college education is looked upon with suspicion. The North Node, you know, it's reversed. Today, this Gemini South Node tends to be content with his or her knowledge, no matter how incomplete it is. It's only with the Gemini South Node, when it's suddenly thrust into a new environment, that he or she becomes aware that something's missing. At that point, he or she can tap the Sagittarius North Node's potential and expand his or her knowledge and understanding of the world. You guys got that? You guys got that? So when this gets funky bananas, you know, they can reach out and I got it. They can use the world to make their shit happen. The person with an overdeveloped Gemini South Node has few long-range goals. Obviously, Sagittarius, long-range goals. Is restricted by his or her routine or environment. Is immature or retains an emphasis on dressing and acting as he did at a much younger age. Sees no point in college unless it's a prerequisite to a certain job. Does not like to waste time on abstractions or unproven theories. May be fickle, you know, maybe be a bigot, a racist. Is sarcastic, cynical. You know, maybe marries a childhood sweetheart, a neighbor, high school friend. You know, usually marries early and settles into a routine where the only big change is a transition from school to work, and loves to travel as long as the place visited isn't too different from what he or she is used to. The North Node in Sagittarius, North Node, the opposite here, North Node, wants to be thought of as natural, sincere, intellectual, refined, and broad-minded. Now, this is the same person, right? Keep in mind, this is the same person. So just the same person who can be cynical, sarcastic, racist, you know, who marries a childhood sweetheart, who only deals with the familiar, you know, who is, you know, doesn't waste the time on unproven theories. You know, he doesn't give a shit about education. The same person wants to be thought of as natural, sincere, intellectual, refined, and broad-minded. Okay, it's the same thing. South Node, North Node. It's the same person. This person is of such changeable emotions that he or she may be mistaken for a yes person or as a phony, which is what that other motherfucker just that I just read you. It's what he said. Okay, he said on and on and on and on that this person can be changeable or a phony or insincere or a yes man, but it's not true. It's just not true. It's just, okay, he or she just has trouble focusing on one thing at a time and tends to scatter energy to the point where objectives seldom reach completion. Restlessness keeps dreams in an ever-changing state so that they may never be clearly defined. In effect, this person might dream of having a dream. You guys got that? Not enough Sagittarius. Too much Gemini, the cup overfloweth. Not enough Gemini. Not enough Sagittarius. Too much South Node, not enough North Node. All right. Mohan Kapar says, previous incarnation for this person, South Node, past life, blah, 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 blah. Previous incarnation for this person was spent in many intellectual and communicative ideas, hanging out in the world of Gemini. He had to deal with others constantly. Thus, he was often drained of his intellectual resources by others. He had to fulfill what they expected of him. In this lifetime, he's choosing the path of independence and isolation. He likes to be a free-floating soul without getting involved with many earthly interactions. He can solve their problems when he feels like it, but at the same time, he has a choice and the ability to turn them away from him. Zombies! Oh, check it out. We're getting subs. Very cool. Please subscribe to the channel, guys. Please share the video. Well, let's get back to it. He likes to be a free-floating soul. Okay, he can solve their problems when he feels like it, but at the same time, he has a choice and the ability to turn them away from him. In this lifetime, he will achieve substantial esoteric knowledge or understanding with or without being too involved in the occult. He is not very much interested in the material things or in human emotionalism. When his feelings are seen, he just transcends them or throws them away. Next, Hayden Paul says, there's only two more, but Hayden Paul's a little long. Hayden Paul says, the Gemini energy makes you restless. We know that. Searching for stimulation. Woo! Diverse interests and experiences, and encourages an active lifestyle. Whenever you feel restricted, whether in work, relationships, or even in allowable attitudes, thoughts, and emotions, you feel extremely uncomfortable and look for ways to change the situation. Your mind is alert and receptive to a multitude of impressions from other people and the mass of information received during your daily life. Yet, due to distracted fluctuations in attention span, we're getting back to the whole thing here. Too much Gemini gets distracted. You may find that focus and concentration becomes difficult to maintain. Changeability is likely, often displayed as indecision and regular shifts of mind and emotion. Your mutable nature sometimes appears to reflect various personality types which are temporarily adopted to deal with others. Do you guys catch that? This is a much nicer way to say that. You see, Gemini is a sign that's searching for the answer yes. They understand it, they're searching, they know everything. You know, they're highly mutable, and they already know the answer, right? They understand it. They're at peace with it. They're not afraid. And when Geminis are saying all this stuff, they're trying to say it in a way so that you can agree. You know, you're the stupid one. You're the one who doesn't fucking understand shit. You're the one who lives in a world of fear. You're the one who doesn't accept the way things are. And Gemini just says all of these words until they can find a way to have you engage you on your level, is what Gemini's trying to do. It's all they're trying to do. So I know people are like, these guys are saying, oh, they're changeable, or they're this, or they're this. It's not really what's happening. Gemini is just, you know, trying to get your dumb ass to, like, be part of the conversation. It's just like Libra, too. These air signs, like, maybe not Aquarius, but these Gemini, just trying to find the words so that your dumb ass can belong. Libra, same thing. They're just being nice to you so your dumb ass can belong. And some of these guys are saying some really nasty things about this overabundance of Gemini energy, because these motherfuckers clearly don't belong. Anyways, you find choice evaluation difficult, seeing the virtues of different decisions and actions, recognizing that from each perspective, each option may present a valid position. Right? This inhibits your decision-making ability, obviously, okay. Personal decisions are hard to make, and when having to evaluate others' viewpoints as well, you often take the easier way out, which is to agree with whoever presents the most persuasive and powerful argument, because in actual, if you're arguing about this, they really don't give a shit. The danger with this is that you may devalue your opinions, beliefs, values, and feelings. It's true. You find it hard to discriminate between different options and resist giving commitments because you recognize that you change your mind too often and more information might come along, or you just understand. It's hard to hate somebody when you fucking understand what they're doing. That's all that's going on. Refusing to make responsible choices, you try to be agreeable to all. It may even seem that you agree with another's view when it's in his or her company, only to change again, chameleon-like when with others. This may increase social acceptability, but can damage your integrity. But if you're a Gemini, you're smarter than the average person, so you don't give a shit. Now, the Sagittarius North Node indicates the need for a unifying philosophy. Sagittarius, ruled by Jupiter, is the planet of philosophy. It's the planet of optimism, mental expansion, and spirituality. You acquire a belief or purpose that offers meaning and direction, rather than simply being swayed by the winds of superficiality, diversity, and mutability. This becomes the issue of purposeful direction. So you will probably be at least in your late 20s. Once again, they're saying once you hit your Saturn return, a number of people have said now, when you hit your Saturn return after 27, 28, 29, you're going to start to be less South Node Gemini, more North Node Sagittarius. But you're both. Remember, you're both at the same time. This becomes the issue of purposeful direction. So later on in life, you'll find purpose in your direction. You will probably be at least in your late 20s before you accept the necessity for a self-chosen direction. Then you will start looking for signposts. Those guiding indications may come from an influential older person, either blah, 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 or blah, blah, blah. And you might end up teaching. Right? We learn by observation and by teaching. One important step is to reduce your reflective tendency by determining your own attitudes, feelings, irrespective, without trying to please others, or without constantly agreeing with everyone. Sagittarius doesn't agree with any. The Sagittarius just does whatever the fuck they want to do. The Sagittarius doesn't have a problem fighting. Changing this behavior pattern may not be easy, but you will benefit from becoming yourself. As you feel free to express your nature, you'll have a growing feeling of joy and vitality, and will discover the liberation of being natural and real without any compulsion to agree with others. Alright, blah, 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 blah. Next, and finally, Bruno and Louise Hubert. The mutable fire sign Sagittarius and the cardinal earth sign Capricorn What? What are these guys? Okay. All right, let's see what they have to say. The fire sign Sagittarius and the cardinal earth sign Capricorn are the two individual signs that promote the expression and the maturation of the individual personality. All right, I get it. You guys get that? Sagittarius and Capricorn, it promotes being uptight. Uptight and mature and saying, stop being so childish. In Sagittarius, we always strive hard for mental autonomy. That means they think whatever they want. Sagittarians have an independent outlook. They want to work out their own ideas and philosophy and to have these under their own control. All right, like I said, Sagittarius does whatever they want. With the North Node in Sagittarius, the task is to develop this mental autonomy. It's to focus your thoughts. Gemini gathers all the information, and Sagittarius focuses the information and then does whatever the fuck they want. One's thought should be fostered so as to produce clear-cut opinions of one's own and independence of opinions of others. This placement of the node is quite likely to occur when the chart indicates that the native is very much inclined to fall in line with the opinions of others, in which case its message is, you must think for yourself and form your own views. This node is an antidote to mental laziness. Right, these guys are not mentally lazy, just saying that. With the Sagittarius node, we have to answer for our own opinions, which may not suit us at all, because we like to think that they're beyond criticism, right, and hard, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and if there's a hard aspect, or if negative things are transiting the North Node in Sagittarius, there's a tendency to be dogmatic and fanatical. In the fire signs, Sagittarius self-confidence becomes important again. The preceding fire signs are bringing with self-confidence, blah, blah, blah. But it's not so simple for Sagittarius because Sagittarius is difficult. They're not a me, me, me sign. Sagittarius is a philosophical, hey man, everything is going to be cool. And, all right. And that's the action. It says, finally, these people should stand up, voice their opinions, and be heard. Seriously, if you have all of the opinions, if you have all of the information, and you do understand both sides of the equation, which overfloweth with Gemini, then you really should stand up and speak your mind in Sagittarius, because of all the astrological placements, these guys know what's going on. And that's the action. That's the action. Please share the video. Please subscribe to the channel. Please give the video a bloop. Kick in the balls, motherfucker! No, sorry, everybody calm down. Let's get back to business here. So, once again, this is theastroside.com. Please subscribe to the channel. Please visit the Astroside and pick up some of our badass hoodies and mugs and t-shirts. My wife's a Cancer, right? So she made all of this. Mess with the crab, get stabbed. Anyways, mugs and hoodies and t-shirts. I have a whole bunch of these ones, actually. I really like them. And when you're looking for personal readings, check it out in the description box below. Please visit TheSunnySide.net. And if you drop by one of our many, many live streams, make sure you say, yo, Sonny, what's up? And that's the action, guys. So once again, South Node Gemini, lots of information. You might be paralyzed with lots of information. It's okay. You know, you're both at the same time. So you can take all that, of that information, and you can focus and be very philosophical about it and put the big picture together. Lots of information and the ability to put the big picture together. What you have to do is, forget about all these motherfuckers. What you have to do is you have to formulate the big picture as you're gathering information. And you can do both at the same time. And that's the action. Remember, it's always a beautiful day to be beautiful, but it's together that makes it a beautiful day. And that's the action. From TheSunnySide.net, I'm Sonny, wishing everyone the absolute best of a super beautiful day. And I'll see you guys soon.